Markets are crashing. Banks are limiting withdrawals. Governments are calling emergency meetings, and suddenly everyone wants to know what went wrong. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The warning signs may have been visible for years. Not in the stock market. Not in crypto. Not even in real estate. They were hiding in something much less exciting: debt. Today, the global financial system is carrying an enormous mountain of borrowed money. And the scary part isn't simply how much debt exists. It's what happens when the cost of maintaining that debt becomes too expensive. Because for years, the world had something that made massive debt look harmless: cheap money. After the 2008 financial crisis, interest rates stayed extremely low for a long time. Borrowing became cheap. Governments could spend more, companies could borrow more, and consumers could take on larger loans. And because the interest bill was manageable, the system kept moving. But there's a problem with cheap money: people get used to it. Imagine someone gives you a credit card with almost no interest. At first, you use it carefully. Then you buy a better car, a bigger house, and a more expensive lifestyle. Eventually, your lifestyle isn't being supported by your income anymore. It's being supported by your ability to keep borrowing. That is the danger of a debt-dependent economy. Debt stops being an emergency tool and starts becoming the engine of growth. Every slowdown brings more borrowing. Every crisis brings more borrowing. Every new problem gets another layer of debt. And for years, this system appeared to work. Until inflation changed the rules. Central banks raised interest rates, and suddenly borrowing wasn't cheap anymore. That created a problem that many people don't immediately see. A lot of existing debt eventually has to be refinanced. In simple terms, you borrowed yesterday at yesterday's interest rate, but when that debt expires, you may have to borrow again at today's rate. It's like using one credit card to pay another. It works until the new credit becomes too expensive. And this is where the global debt story gets interesting. According to the OECT, a large share of government borrowing is now being used to refinance existing debt rather than simply fund new spending. Think about what that means. You're working harder every year, not necessarily to build something new, but just to keep yesterday's financial promises alive. Governments aren't the only ones facing this pressure. Businesses are dealing with higher financing costs too. At the same time, another massive borrowing race is beginning: artificial intelligence. Building the future of AI requires enormous amounts of infrastructure, including data centers, power, chips, networks, and billions of dollars in capital. The OECT estimates that some of the world's largest AI companies could issue around $1. $2 trillion in corporate bonds between 2026 and 2030 to help finance that expansion. That doesn't automatically mean AI is a bubble. But it does mean something important. Debt markets are becoming increasingly connected to the next wave of economic growth. And when debt becomes expensive, the pressure doesn't stay inside banks and government offices. It eventually reaches ordinary people. Think about what happens when financing costs rise. A company may delay expansion. Hiring may slow. A new factory may never get built. Mortgage rates can remain higher. Businesses may raise prices. And governments have less financial flexibility when the next crisis arrives. That's how a debt problem can slowly become an economic problem. But here's the question that really matters. If global debt is so dangerous, why hasn't the entire system collapsed already? Because debt depends on something more important than money: confidence. As long as investors believe governments and companies can continue servicing their obligations, they keep lending. Banks keep operating. Bond markets keep functioning. And the system keeps moving. But when confidence disappears, everything can change very quickly. Imagine standing on a frozen lake. For hours, nothing happens. The ice looks completely solid. People keep walking. Then one small crack appears. The crack didn't create the danger. It revealed the weakness that was already there. Financial systems can work the same way. The debt builds slowly. The refinancing pressure builds slowly. The interest payments build slowly. And then something unexpected becomes the trigger. It could be a bank failure, a geopolitical shock, a recession, a housing problem, or something nobody is currently watching. We don't know what the next trigger will be, and that's exactly why predicting the next financial crisis is so difficult. But there's another important point. This doesn't mean the global economy is about to collapse tomorrow. It doesn't mean you should sell everything and hide your money. And anyone guaranteeing that a financial disaster is coming tomorrow is probably selling fear. The global financial system has survived wars, pandemics, inflation, recessions, and banking crises. It is far more resilient than many people realize. But resilient doesn't mean invincible. The real lesson isn't to panic, it's to understand the system. Because most people don't notice financial pressure when it begins. They notice it later, when a mortgage becomes more expensive, when a company freezes hiring, when a business cancels expansion, when prices rise, or when governments have fewer options during a crisis. That's how debt enters everyday life, quietly, almost invisibly, until eventually everyone asks the same question. How did we get here? And here's the biggest mistake people make. They think financial crises begin with chaos. They don't. They usually begin with confidence. As long as everyone believes the system is stable, banks lend, investors buy, governments borrow, businesses expand, and everything feels normal. Until suddenly, it doesn't. So maybe the biggest financial bubble in history isn't housing. Maybe it isn't stocks. Maybe it isn't crypto. Maybe the real bubble is the belief that debt can continue growing forever without consequences. Maybe this time really is different. Maybe it isn't. Nobody knows for sure. But smart investors don't need to predict the exact day everything changes. They prepare for different possibilities. Because knowledge doesn't eliminate risk, but it can stop you from becoming the person who reacts after everyone else has already panicked. The headlines will tell you what happened. But understanding debt can help you understand why it happened. And sometimes, the most dangerous financial risks are the ones hiding in plain sight. If you want more documentaries explaining the hidden forces shaping the global economy, subscribe to Wealth Strategist. Because here, we don't just follow the headlines, we explain what's underneath them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.